Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Bold and the beautiful sees Lee Finnegan acting really strangely, and she may be sitting on a really twisted secret that Sheila Carter soon finds out and is totally shocked by. Alright, so I've said here before, and I know lots of viewers are with me on it, but Lee is acting shady and nobody has seen Luna Nozawa's corpse. In fact, last we saw her, Lee and Bridget Forrester revived her during surgery. Luna was shipped off to post-op recovery doing okay, all things considered. And it feels like to me, there's a very good chance Luna's still alive and Lee is hiding her niece/granddaughter somewhere. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that Lee pulled this stunt, but maybe this time with Luna, there's going to be a co-conspirator involved. Just before the shooting, Lee abruptly changed her tune about Luna, which shocked fans. But that's the inconsistent writing we get from Bold. Before the week of the shooting, prior to that, Lee had always urged Finn, stay away from Luna. She's dangerous and was a serious threat to Steffi Forrester. And yeah, Luna locked Steffi in a cage and left her for dead to be smashed by a wrecking ball. Very old-school Batman TV show type of death trap. So, Lee had this very low opinion of Luna. That was understandable. And then all of a sudden, right before the shooting, Lee did a 180 degrees and started talking about her as a victim. She told Finn she didn't think Luna was born bad. Then, with no warning and no flatline scene other than the one we saw during surgery that she pulled out of, next thing you know, Lee's in the waiting room telling Poppy that Luna up and died in recovery. That's when putrid Poppy said she was glad her daughter died. This absolutely appalled Lee, who said Luna never stood a chance with Poppy as her mom. So no, Lee doesn't condone what Luna did, but she also doesn't believe that it was all her fault. So there is a rumor going around from a very reputable source that Luna is in a coma. And we know she has scenes on Bold and the Beautiful in September, which is, more than a month away. At the same time, we also know Lisa Yamada needed time off to film her new Amazon Prime series, Elle. So, from the moment that Lee abruptly revealed that Luna died without us seeing it, I immediately assumed Lee was lying and had stashed Luna somewhere to help her recover from her gunshot wound and keep her away from Poppy, who is just awful. There's not a lot of huge surprises that Bold pulls off on us, honestly. And there's one other person in LA who feels pretty much the same way about Luna that Lee does. And that is Finn's other mother, Sheila Carter. She also loves Luna. And she also blames Lee's awful sister, Poppy, for how Luna turned out. Sheila wanted Luna to leave Steffi and Finn alone. She tried to get Luna to leave LA and make a new life for herself elsewhere. And just related to that, there's a couple more red flags waving recently about Lee. First, out of nowhere, she stopped by Il Giardino to see Sheila, a woman who she despises. And Lee told Sheila that the two of them were the only ones that had been rooting for Luna. Then Sheila told Lee that she's heartbroken because Luna died and nobody cares. And this is where the second red flag really started waving for me. Sheila asked about a memorial service for Luna, and Lee told Sheila, "It's already done. It's handled." Now, if you remember, this is almost the same phraseology that Lee used with Steffi after Finn supposedly died in 2022. Steffi tried to talk to Lee about a memorial service for Finn, but she told Steffi, "I'll take care of everything when it comes to my son." And Steffi assumed Lee had been cremated before she could even see him one last time. And now here we are, nearly an identical situation. Of course, at the time, Steffi thought that Lee had had Finn cremated while she was still in the hospital, knocked out from her own gunshot wound back in 2022. And of course, Lee was lying. Finn was still alive. He was comatose, and Lee was secretly nursing him back to health. You may remember she was taking care of Finn, and then Sheila showed up at Lee's place demanding to know where her son was buried or his ashes were so she could say goodbye to him. And that's when Sheila heard medical machines beeping, and she bullied her way into Lee's apartment and found an unconscious Finn. Sheila freaked out. She wanted to take Finn to the hospital. Lee said no. There was violence that ensued back then. Sheila told Lee, "You're even crazier than I am." And that led to the whole thing where Sheila chased down Lee, ran her off the road, nearly killed her. And then Sheila took over caring for Finn. Bottom line, Sheila was right. I think Lee is just as crazy as she is. And she knows Sheila would do anything for those she loves, including Luna. So, not only do I suspect Lee has done the same thing with Luna that she did with Finn, this time I suspect that Lee is going to shock Sheila with the truth. I think Lee might actually invite Sheila to drop by her place and show her, "Look, Luna's alive, but comatose. Just like I took care of Finn, I'm taking care of Luna. Just like I saved Finn's life, I'm saving Luna's life." And no doubt Sheila would be thrilled that Luna survived, and she would be all in on helping Lee nurse their granddaughter back to health. And absolutely Sheila would keep it a secret, even from Deacon. I believe Lee is fully focused on trying to save Luna's life with the idea in mind she'll figure out what's next after that. You know, no reason to even get what-ifs unless she knows she can save her. You know, whether that's helping her granddaughter sneak out of town and start fresh somewhere else or turn herself into the cops and face the consequences. I tend to think Lee would probably want Luna to be accountable for her actions, whereas Sheila would want to get Luna out of LA rather than go to prison. So, that's a matter for another day. I suspect Lee dropped in on Sheila to test the waters and see if Luna's supposed death was hitting Sheila really hard. I think Lee is evaluating Sheila as a possible co-schemer because that way while Lee's at work at the hospital, Sheila can go over there and take care of Luna. She used to be a nurse, remember? So Lee wouldn't raise any eyebrows by missing hospital shifts. I do think she knows she could trust Sheila to take good care of Luna and protect her. So we may soon see Lee revealing comatose Luna to Sheila. We know Luna's got another new episode in September. However, I want to show you something. TV Guide actually posted a spoiler for Monday, July 21st, and none of the spoilers happened, but they were posted on TV Guide. And that is an extremely reputable site. So, it said 3 things I think that we need to talk about. One is about Steffi and Hope, but it spelled out Stephanie, which was weird. And then it said Liam and Bill have a serious talk. That didn't happen. And Luna lies in a coma. Also didn't happen. So, here's the screenshot that I got from TV Guide's official site. I mentioned it in our weekly spoilers video with the caveat that I had seen it nowhere else but on tvguide.com. So I was reporting with a grain of salt, and I also did the screenshot. So now I'm showing it to you. Maybe the spoiler is valid, but the date was wrong. We'll absolutely have to just wait and see. But I think we can all agree it was very bizarre for Luna to die off-screen. I think Lee might have been testing Poppy when she told her Luna was dead to see her reaction, and then pulled her aside to speak privately, and Poppy failed the test. But I do think Sheila passed the test. So, I have to say it'd be wild to see Lee setting aside her dislike of Sheila, who shot their son Finn, to conspire with her to secretly nurse Luna back to health. That's where I suspect this is going. It's a repeat plot, 100%. That's what Bold does. Let me know what you think. In the sun-drenched corridors of Forrester Creations and the hushed halls of the hospital, secrets have always lingered like shadows. But nothing could prepare Sheila Carter for the devastating truth lurking in Lee Finnegan's past. The woman she once dismissed as cold, controlled, and clinical may just be hiding a darkness to rival her own. And when Sheila finds out, it changes everything. Sheila Carter stood frozen in the dim hospital corridor, the flickering fluorescent light casting ghostly shadows on the pale linoleum. Her heart pounded in her chest as she stared at the partially open door to Lee's private office. The voices coming from inside were low, urgent, muffled, but one word caught her ear like a bolt of lightning. That name. That girl. Her granddaughter. Sheila had been lurking for weeks, convinced something wasn't right with Lee. Ever since the whole mess with Poppy and Bill exploded and Luna's paternity test came into question, Lee had become different, more secretive. She seemed on edge, constantly glancing over her shoulder, locking files, keeping conversations short. And now Sheila knew why. The voices inside continued, one of them unmistakably Lee's. Sheila's blood ran cold. Alive? Surgery? Wasn't Luna supposed to be recovering from a breakdown in Europe? Wasn't that the story they fed everyone after the drugging scandal? But now, suddenly the door creaked open, and a nurse scurried out without noticing Sheila. The door remained ajar. That was all the invitation Sheila needed. She slipped inside like a phantom. Lee Finnegan nearly dropped the file in her hand when she saw Sheila. "You! What are you doing here?" she hissed, stepping between Sheila and the screen behind her desk. The screen that clearly separated a makeshift medical suite, complete with machines humming and a hospital bed hidden in the shadows. Sheila's eyes narrowed, lips curling into a smirk. "I could ask you the same thing, Dr. Frankenstein. Who are you operating on in secret? And why do I have this weird feeling it has something to do with Luna?" Lee's carefully cultivated calm cracked like ice under pressure. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Oh, I think I do," Sheila said, taking a step forward. "You've been hiding someone. Luna, maybe? After all, it wouldn't be the first time you lied about keeping someone alive, would it? Remember when you stashed Finn after the shooting? You just can't help yourself, can you?" Lee's jaw tightened, her voice low and trembling. "This is different, is it?" Sheila's voice dropped to a purr. "Or are you hiding Luna because something went wrong? Maybe you did something to her? Or maybe you found out something about her that changes everything." At that, Lee looked away. For a long moment, the room was silent, save for the beeping of a heart monitor behind the screen. She needed facial reconstruction. Lee finally said, "There was an accident. One no one knows about. She was injured beyond recognition, and I didn't want anyone to see her like that. Especially Poppy. Or Bill. But she's alive," Sheila said slowly. "Alive. And hidden. Undergoing surgery." "Why would you do that?" Lee turned toward her, eyes gleaming. "Because Luna isn't just recovering. She's changing." Sheila stared at her, confused. "I used an experimental procedure," Lee admitted. "One I perfected in Tokyo before coming to Los Angeles. It can rebuild tissue at a cellular level. It can also, under certain conditions, alter identity. Luna didn't just suffer physical trauma. She wanted a new start. She didn't want to be Luna anymore." Sheila's mouth dropped open. "You mean you're turning her into someone else?" Lee nodded. "She's getting a new face, a new life. And once the surgery is complete, Luna Nozawa will no longer exist." It was too much, even for Sheila. She stumbled back, gripping the desk for balance. "You're insane," Sheila whispered. "You're playing God." "No," Lee said sharply. "I'm giving her a chance. A chance she never had being raised around Poppy's lies and your chaos. Luna deserves better." Sheila's mind reeled. If Luna was getting a new identity, what would that mean for her future with Bill? Would he ever know he had a daughter? Would Poppy ever forgive Lee? And most importantly, what about Sheila? This wasn't just about family anymore. It was about legacy. "You can't erase her," Sheila said, suddenly fierce. "She's my granddaughter." Lee looked her dead in the eye. "That's exactly why I have to." As Sheila stormed out of the office, rage and disbelief battling in her chest, she made a vow. Lee had gone too far this time. First Finn, now Luna? This wasn't about protection, it was about control. And Sheila Carter was done watching from the shadows. She had dirt on Lee now, enough to blow her world wide open. But even as she plotted her next move, one terrifying possibility clawed at her mind. What if Lee wasn't lying? What if Luna really wanted to disappear? What if the girl who had barely survived her mother's mistakes had chosen, willingly, to abandon her identity and become someone else? Sheila didn't know whether to feel devastated or impressed. Meanwhile, deep in the shadows of the hidden medical suite, a figure stirred beneath the blankets. Her face was still bandaged, only her eyes visible, wide, confused, and filled with pain. She stared up at the blinking monitors, then turned slowly to the wall where a mirror hung, draped in a black cloth. A mirror she hadn't yet seen. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.